Hi, my name is Lauren and I am the fashion architect. This is officially my first video on YouTube and I'm so excited. To start this journey, here's how to draft the MILKMAID dress. So for this tutorial, I'll be using a miniature basic bodice block, but please let me know in the comments if you'd like me to show you how to draft a bodice block. Don't forget to drop it in the comments right now. Back to the video. What I'm doing here is I'm pivoting my shoulder dart to the waist because for the design I do not need a shoulder dart. So I've moved it to the waist and I have a ginormous waist dart now, but no worries, I'm not going to use that. I've just drawn that out, and the next thing I'll do is to mark my underbust position. So I need this because there's a cup-like effect in the MILKMAID dress, so you need that underbust to get the position. Now I'm just drawing out the neckline, and then there's a keyhole effect at the front of the design, so I'm doing that at the center front. That's where the drawstring would meet. Next, I'll mark my notches because I'm going to cut this out. Now I'm going to draw out a horizontal green line on that cup, and you'll see why I'll need it later. Now I'm just cutting out my pattern, cut out the keyhole parts, cut out the neckline, then to the armhole, cut, and that's done. Then I'm going to cut out the cup. Separate the cup from the bottom. We're going to call the bottom a yoke. And you see the darts that's happening there. We're not really going to use this dart at all. It's not going to show. So I'm going to close this dart permanently in the yoke. There's no need to sew it. You close it up, tape it down, and that's it. Now moving to the cup, using that horizontal grain line, divide your pattern into different parts, as many parts as you wish, but you don't need too many, honestly. So here I have 4 parts, and I'm just drawing the line that I'm going to use to divide them, to cut them. And please label, because you separate these pieces, so you need to label so you know what is supposed to be where. Now I'm cutting, and next I'm going to prep another paper which I'll place on. So you notice I have another horizontal grain line. I'm going to use that to place each piece. So the horizontal grain line on number 1 should match the horizontal line on the new paper. And now I'm deciding my fullness. My fullness here is 2.5 cm, but this is not a real sized design, so you can do way more than this. If I was doing a real size design, I'll do about 6 cm between each piece. So this is the fullness I'm adding to my cup, so between number 1 and number 2 there's 6 cm, 2 and 3 6 cm, and so next I'm going to blend the parts. Because I've separated them, I need to blend them to create a perfect pattern. So I'm blending, connecting highest point to highest point, doing that for the top also. And this is basically the front of my MILKMAID design. So that's the bottom and that's the top. You gathered that part into the yoke, and then you gathered the top using your drawstring, and it is done. Next, I'm using my notches to know how to connect the 2 patterns together, and I'm going to measure my armhole because I need this for the sleeve. Now let's move to the back. For the back, I'm going to also measure what I need for my armhole. You know that it's like an off-shoulder design, so you need to cut off your shoulder basically. And I'm just drawing out the neckline, so depending on the neck depth that I choose, I've drawn that out. And I'm going to raise my darts, raise the middle leg of my dart to the new neckline, and then take out a 2 cm for gaping. Now this is important because whenever you cut an off-shoulder design, you need to take that out if you want it to fit perfectly. So you create a dart to avoid gaping, and that's what I've done. And I'm going to slash the middle leg of my waist dart so I can transfer the new dart I created into that, you're moving one excess into the other. So I'm going to close that now, and you see that the waist dart will open up some more. And then I'll need to blend back my line because it's no longer perfect. Now after blending, I will tape down and then trace this pattern on another paper because I need to fill up the darts that I have opened up there. And I've done that. These are my patterns, my front pattern, my complete back pattern. Finally, it's time to create the puff sleeve, and you start by dividing your pattern into different parts. So I'm doing it into 4 again. Now I'm going to mark the measurement of my armhole from the front bodice. You mark that, and then the measurement of the armhole from the back bodice you mark on the back side of the sleeve. And now that I've marked these 2 points, I'm going to connect them with a line, and that's now my off shoulder sleeve. I'm cutting that out. Then I'm just labeling front and back, and I'm going to draw out the lines that I will slash. So of course this is a puff sleeve, so we need to slash through, and I'm cutting through the lines to create the extra fullness. Next, I'm going to prep another paper and draw out a horizontal guideline and then a vertical grain line to use as a guide to place my slashed pattern. Now I'm just using a fullness of 6 cm here, and I'm placing the middle patterns between the vertical grain line. Now you can still make this as wide as you choose. Don't just use my 6 cm, you can make it as wide as you want. And I'm just placing the other pieces now, another 6 cm between all of them. So you notice that there's 6 cm between each piece. Now this is my sleeve pattern, very simple. I'm just blending the top with a horizontal line and the bottom also with a horizontal line. I'm going to cut this out. Now the idea is you can use an elastic to gather the top part of the sleeve and also an elastic for the bottom. That's why it's this wide. So these are your patterns. We're basically done the front, the back, and the sleeve. This is the MILKMAID dress. If you enjoyed this video, don't forget to like and subscribe for more, because there'll be more coming your way. See you on the next video.